What does it take to become the Chief Secretary of a state like Telangana? Is it political connections, public popularity, or years of administrative experience? Well, in the case of IAS officer Sanjay Jaju, the answer is something very different. Here is an officer who has spent more than 3 decades quietly building systems instead of headlines. You won't be able to find many interviews of him. He has stayed away from the spotlight, and whenever governments, whether at the center or in the state, needed someone to handle technology, infrastructure, defense production, digital governance, or institutional reforms, one name kept coming up: Sanjay Jaju. So, why was he chosen to lead Telangana's administration? Hi, I am Sabit and you are watching Indian Masterminds. Today, let's explore the remarkable journey of IAS officer Sanjay Jaju, from a mechanical engineering student to the highest bureaucratic office in Telangana. Most IAS officers come from backgrounds in humanities, law, or economics. Sanjay Jaju's journey was different from the very beginning. Born on 26 February 1969 in Madhya Pradesh, he first studied mechanical engineering, followed by an M.Tech. But he didn't stop there. He also qualified in cost accounting, pursued management education through IGNOU, and even attended advanced management programs at the University of Manchester in the United Kingdom. Engineering, finance, and management, a combination you don't often see in the bureaucracy. Looking back today, it is easy to understand why governments repeatedly entrusted him with departments where technology, infrastructure, and governance came together. In 1992, he joined the Indian Administrative Service and was allotted the undivided Andhra Pradesh cadre. It marked the beginning of a career that would eventually span villages, cities, state governments, and some of India's most strategic ministries. Like every young IAS officer, Sanjay Jaju began where governance is experienced more directly on the ground. As sub-collector of Vijayawada, he dealt with revenue administration, land issues, and public grievances. It was here that he learned how policies affect ordinary citizens. His early postings also included rural development and the Rajiv Gandhi mission, where he worked on education and human development programs. These years shaped his understanding of administration, not just from behind a desk, but from constant interaction with people and local institutions. And soon, even bigger responsibilities followed. One of the defining phases of his career came in urban administration. As Municipal Commissioner of Visakhapatnam and later Hyderabad, Sanjay Jaju was responsible for managing rapidly growing cities, roads, sanitation, drainage, public health, municipal finances, civic infrastructure, and city planning. All of it came under his watch. Remember, this was also the period when Hyderabad was transforming into one of India's biggest technology destinations. Managing such explosive urban growth wasn't just about building roads, it meant balancing expansion with the everyday needs of millions of people. This assignment established him as an administrator who could manage large institutions, coordinate multiple departments, and think years ahead rather than just solving today's problems. After serving as district collector of West Godavari, where he handled agriculture, irrigation, disaster management, rural development, and welfare programs, Sanjay Jaju enjoyed a phase that would define the rest of his career. He became Secretary, Information Technology and Communications. Today, digital governance is something we talk about almost every day, but Sanjay Jaju was working on technology-enabled public services, IT policy, and e-governance long before it became the national buzzword. His engineering background gave him a technical perspective, while years in district administration ensured he never lost sight of the people these technologies were meant to serve. That combination became one of his biggest strengths. In 2014, Sanjay Jaju moved to the Government of India on central deputation. What followed was nearly 13 years across some of the country's most significant ministries. He worked on highways, electronics, defense production, information and broadcasting, and finally the Ministry of Development of the Northeastern region. He also played important roles in strengthening defense manufacturing, supporting the corporatization of the Ordnance Factory Board, promoting electronics and digital initiatives, and eventually served as Secretary in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. It's a remarkably diverse administrative journey. Very few IAS officers from his batch have worked across so many technically demanding sectors at the national level. And throughout this period, one thing remained constant: he stayed away from the spotlight. By 2026, Telangana needed a chief secretary who understood not just administration but also investment, technology, and coordination with the union government. Sanjay Jaju fit the role perfectly. After more than a decade in New Delhi, he returned to Hyderabad and took charge as Chief Secretary of Telangana on July 1st, 2026. But his responsibilities didn't end there. Along with leading the state's bureaucracy, he was also given charge of industries and commerce, information technology, electronics and communication, and industry and investment cell in the Chief Minister's office and the speed wing. That's a clear indication of the confidence placed in his ability to drive investment, technology, and administrative coordination together. Perhaps the most interesting thing about Sanjay Jaju is what you don't find. There are very few personal interviews. Very little is publicly known about his family or private life. Instead, his career tells the story. Over more than 3 decades, he has worked across district administration, city governance, infrastructure, irrigation, food security, information technology, defense production, industrial policy, and national communication. It's this extraordinary range of experience, not one single project or one famous decision, that explains why he was chosen to lead Telangana's administration. His journey reminds us that some of the most influential public servants are not always the most visible. Sometimes they are the ones quietly building institutions that millions depend on every day. I am Sabit, and this was the story of IAS Sanjay Jaju. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the lives of India's civil servants, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Indian Masterminds, and let us know in the comments which IAS or IPS officer should be featured next. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.